I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime. Never!
How do you feel, mighty Megatron? Astrotrain, transform and get us out of here!
What is up, my Transformers family? Welcome back to George Reviews and back to 1985 Transformers Catalog Countdown. Today we have Decepticon Triple Changer Astrotrain. Astrotrain lands at number 12 on our countdown. Quick little backstory on Astrotrain before we get rolling. While most of the Transformers in the 1985 countdown come from the Diaclone toy line, most Transformers period come from the Diaclone toy line, Astrotrain didn't quite make it in. He was intended to be part of the Diaclone toy line, but Takar switched over to making Transformers, name brand Transformers. Astrotrain came in the United States Shuttle accurate black and white color scheme. He even came with NASA stickers. Then he was later released in the American style colors, the purple, black, and I say white, but they say gray. Purple, white, and gray colors. And speaking of gray colors, we all stared at the catalog and we noticed Astrotrain head and color scheme was not the same. From what I understand, those were just wooden prototypes and you couldn't transform them at all. But there were several different catalog prototypes showed up in different regions. It was like, what was going on? How could they not have the actual toy? Maybe Hasbro was going to change it and add some modification, because he definitely looks like his arm separates at the shoulder on the actual toy and in the catalog, but we did not get that in the toy. But that's something for a little bit later. In front of us is Transformers 1985 Vintage Generation 1 Astrotrain. I do not have the box or the tech spec, but I have a picture of the box. And I'm going to read from the tech spec. So let's get started. Astrotrain. Function: military transport. Motto: in confusion, there's opportunity. Creating confusion is his specialty. As a triple changer, can switch from space shuttle to train to robot almost instantaneously. Thrives on foes' panic and fear. As shuttle travels at 20,000 miles in orbit and up to 50,000 miles per hour out of orbit. It can launch weapons and satellites. Carries cargo. As a train, top speed is 400 miles per hour. Range 1,700 miles. As robot, has great strength, carries powerful ionic displacer rifle. As a train, top speed of 400 miles per hour. Range 1,700 miles. As robot, has great strength, carries powerful ionic displacer rifle. We heard that term several times in the cartoon. We never really saw him creating confusion, maybe on the episode Triple Takeover, but not really. It never really lived up to the tech spec. Alright, now for Astrotrain numbers. His strength is a 9. His intelligence is a 7. His speed is a 10. His endurance is a 7. His rank is a 6. His courage is a 7. His firepower is a 6. And his skill is an 8. Let's talk about some of these numbers. And I've said it before. They just seem like they just threw numbers. Like, let's not give him this, but give him that. We gave another guy this. It seemed like they were just throwing numbers out that really didn't match, like, the actual toy in the bio or whatnot. You know what I mean? It's just, a lot of it just didn't match up. But he has the strength of a 9, and that is very high. His intelligence is pretty high. Speed is a 10. That's great. But they have this guy's firepower as a 6 with this jumbo gun. And 6 isn't bad when you're rating something. That's not bad. But I mean, they gave him this gigantic gun and it could at least been a 7. If you don't want to make him too powerful, make the firepower a 7. And maybe it's overall firepower. It maybe counts in train mode, shuttle mode, in the gun mode. I don't know. But man, that big ass gun, get this guy at least a 7. But moving on. Alright, let's take a look at Astrotrain. We're going to start in the train mode, obviously, because he's in the train mode. And he has some great molded in detailing on him. He has molded in windows. And I believe this pin hinge double as windows as well. He could have used a little bit more paint on the purple plastic parts, definitely. He's sporting all of his stickers. I know he's sporting all of his stickers because I replaced these stickers like 15, 16 years ago with repro labels. Now Toy Hacks. He has a sticker right here representing the headlight on the locomotive. The entire black portion here is die cast. I think this hinge right here is die cast too. But a lot of die cast in Astrotrain. He's very heavy. He's kind of slim and kind of undersized to me. I remember finding this guy in the store as a kid. My Toy Story already. And I felt like he was very underwhelming as far as his size. He is my favorite Triple Changer character. And I believe one or two favorite as a toy. Train mode is his weakest mode because, yeah, he could have used a lot more paint application. He has the Space Shuttle booster rockets hanging out back here. He has 4 wheels. 2 on the front, 2 on the back. And he actually rolls pretty well. He's not going to roll well on my glass table. Some toys do, some toys don't, but he's one of the ones I was playing with earlier. He wasn't rolling very well. But normally he rolls well. His Earth Disguise train mode is based on a JNR class D51 steam locomotive. He pulls it off pretty well. He could use a little bit more paint, but it still looks like that engine. So that's basically it in his steam locomotive mode. Let's get this guy transformed into a space shuttle. Fold these panels on both sides. Fold these up. Rotate Astrotrain over. Unfold the shuttle wings. Come to the front here. Lift up what will be his legs. Unfold the nose of the shuttle. And this kind of doubles as storage compartment right there for his shuttle mode. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but it's there. Open up the boosters right here. Let me get that fin out. Slot this back. And here we have our United States Space Shuttle mode. Wait, it has a proper name. This is the Boeing Rockwell Space Shuttle Orbiter. And this is my favorite mode. I think this is most people's favorite mode. Looks very accurate. This kind of throws it right here, but you know, some of the parts have to go somewhere, and I really dig it. But I've always wanted somebody to make a KO oversized of this guy, and it just never happened. They oversized like Blaster and Soundwave on those KOs, but we couldn't get an Astrotrain. Most of his details in this mode are stickers. Not a lot of molded in details except for the boosters on the back right there. Decepticon logos on the wings. He has the rub sign being activated by my lights already. See if we can get it to go further. As proof of authenticity, not a KO. The front of the shuttle right there looks very accurate to the real life shuttle, except for these colors. And I believe Hasbro wanted to make it more colorful for kids in America. They probably felt it wouldn't hold our attention if it was just a black and white shuttle like it should have been. But I think either way it was cool. But I dig the Decepticon purple colors. Let's keep moving on and get this guy transformed into his robot mode. Open these panels back up. Put the legs back in. You got to kind of push on them a little bit. Close that up. Let's slot them down. And you can hear them lock. Leave the wings out. I'm going to open this part up. Bring it down to his back. Mine's kind of loose. And his arms are tucked into his side. Bring these out. Both sides. Just like this. And now I'm going to do the official transformation. And then I'm going to modify it. You bring the fin to the middle of his chest. And you butterfly it open. To reveal these nice colorful stickers. And this is how Hasbro intended this guy to look. Which is kind of weird because with this thing on his chest, like when he brings his arm forward, which he has articulation to do, a lot of Transformers can't. Then he's hitting a little piece. And I know it's hinged where you can like manipulate it and move it, but it's just kind of in the way. And in the cartoon, they didn't even bother to draw it in. The good thing about the transformation, you don't have to live with this little thing out. I just push it down and I tuck it in and I push it as far as I can out of Astrotrain's face, and this is what we got. So speaking of Astrotrain's face, let's take a look at that head sculpt. Has a yellow visor, a little red piece on the head. Nice molded in face. You can see his nose and his mouth as I bring Astrotrain closer. He has everything but head rotation. Head will not rotate. Now we can see the Decepticon logo that's meant to go right here on his chest. When Takara designed it, they never intended for Decepticon logos to go anywhere. That's a Hasbro thing. So, but the rest of the stickers are Takara stickers. He has some abdomen stickers right here so they can break up his torso. Like these little parts right here are his pecs. Then we got his abs. Then we have his actual waist. Then we got the legs. And these little stickers are supposed to be his knees or whatever. Here are his arms. We have some molded in hands. We got a thumb and all his fingers right there. Then his legs, just one big chunk. And he has some feet right there. Ever so slight impression for feet, which helps him stand up, by the way. I want to talk about his arms. On the prototype, you can see the Astrotrain arms extend right here. And a lot of people actually, including myself, remember as a kid that the arms extended. And now it could be like the Mandela effect, I don't know. But a lot of people remember the arms extending, but they do not. But you can clearly see they were going to have them extend. There's no other reason to design the arms like this except for they were going to slot out and be a little bit longer. Speaking of his arms, they're pretty much the only articulation he has in this mode. And they are on a ball joint, oddly enough. And God knows they could have used more ball joints in the Generation 1 line. You'd think they wouldn't exist at the time, but they did. So we can get a 360 out of that right there, out of his shoulder. His arm, if we can get the wing out of the way, it would go full 360 to the back. But because of that ball joint, we get up to the side this far and this, that. No elbow bend. And that is it for Astrotrain's articulation, unless you count these wings that I keep moving by accident. And here is Mr. Ionic Displacer. The gun is like, look at this. The gun is as big as he is. Just get his gun in his hand, and now he can boop, 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 boop. Just blast. We've come to the part where we give Astrotrain the size up and the rundown. Up here are fellow triple changers, Octane and Blitzwing. Transformers Generation 1 New Year's Special Reissue Optimus Prime. From Transformers Siege is Astrotrain, sporting the cartoon accurate gray, but I never cared for the techie molded in design all over the figure. Alright, I wasn't going to do it, but here is the cartoon model. Alright, I want to give you some buying tips if you are in the market for a Generation 1 Astrotrain. You always want to buy complete, and he only comes with the gun, and it's usually intact. If it's broke, it's usually broken at the peg right here where it slots into his hand. As far as the actual figure, you want to watch for looseness in the joints, because most Astrotrains you find are not broken. You had to go really hard to break a Generation 1 Astrotrain, but the joints on the arms and shoulders, because they're on the ball and over time they get really loose and they flop around and won't hold up and hold the gun, because it's a very heavy gun. It will sag down. You want to make sure it's tight. I actually tighten the joints on mine up. And the legs would just droop down over time. I'm trying to get mine to do it, but it won't do it. But they would just like sag down and he wouldn't stand up over time. This one actually did it, and you can see the glue residue where I actually put glue down in the legs and I kept working it until it stood up. Most people use floor shine, but I don't have the patience for that. So those are the major things you want to watch out for. And these panels, sometimes because kids were in a hurry to transform, and they're very durable. And just pulling on these before the transformation is complete would snap them off. But usually Astrotrains on the secondhand market are intact. And because of that, he doesn't go for a lot of money. Like the gun was so big, like how could you lose it? You had to like leave it somewhere. You know what I mean? It just didn't fall in a couch or something like that. It's just too big or down the drain in the sink. Like, I mean, look at it. So, and because of that, he goes for about 35, 40 bucks complete in pretty good condition. Maybe super minty condition, maybe about 50 bucks. And if you got the unused sticker sheet, then that drives the price way up in the box. It'll continue to skyrocket. But if you just wanted to grab one, 30, 40 bucks. The reissues tend to go for more than this guy does. Speaking of reissues, that leads me into the reissues for Astrotrain. Astrotrain has been released several times by Hasbro and Takara. I know of 2 releases from Takara. He had the original reissue where he came in the book style box, the Transformers collection. He was designated as number 11. He came in the all white color scheme that Takara originally released and I guess intended for Astrotrain. Then they also did e-hobby collector's edition of the gray colored Astrotrain that everybody wanted forever. The purple was a little bit loud on this one, but this is highly coveted and sought after on the secondhand market. It even has a KO, but I'll get to that. Then Astrotrain would receive a United States reissue, and the United States reissue was a little complicated. He was reissued in a commemorative series. Here is that package right here. This is like the United States version of the book style. They didn't know what to do, so they kind of made it look like the Generation 1 box background. And they also reissued this guy for the first time in the United States in black and white, just like the real Space Shuttle. And the thing about this guy right here, he came in 2 different packages because he was meant to be a Toys R Us release, but Toys R Us decided they had enough of the Generation 1 Transformers reissue. I guess they weren't selling well, and then this became like a Hasbro convention exclusive or something like that. I'm really not sure, don't quote me on that, but I think it became like convention exclusive. Then Kmart picked it up and carried it for a while. I never saw it at Kmart or whatever. I wound up getting this one off Big Bad on clearance, but it came in 2 different packages. One of them had the commemorative series and the other one didn't. Then most recently he got the Walmart reissue treatment, and back was the original color, sort of kind of is like a deeper purple over here, but he came back as a Walmart reissue, and a lot of people are speculating that we're going to get, including myself, that we're going to get him in the cartoon accurate 1986 movie line. I don't even know what they're calling that line now, but I believe we're going to get him in the gray colors. Speaking of getting another gray Astrotrain, he has a KO now. I don't even think they've KO'd this guy in the regular colors, but they have a knockoff, what they call a Chinese high quality knockoffs in the gray colors, but they want like $100 for the knockoff. I'm pretty sure if they reissue this guy in the Transformers animated colors, which will be gray, it will be a market killer for this and the KO, because it'd be right around what, $30, $32. So here's hoping that we get that. Now, Astrotrain has one more release. He was released in a 2-pack Platinum Edition with Blitzwing. It was an Asian market exclusive. He was done in white, orange, and purple. And orange is my favorite color, but I didn't grab that guy for whatever reason. I think one time I felt I had enough reissues, but now I kind of regret it. And it wound up on Big Bad Toy Store. It's still out there, still available. It was released, I believe, in 2015. And again, he came in a 2-pack with Blitzwing. And the concept behind it, they were originally going to be an homage to different characters that came out later in the Transformers G1 line, and they were going to use those character names as part of a licensing to hold on to the rights to the characters, and whatever that fell through, and they still remain Astrotrain and Blitzwing. But other people know better than me. If you know, drop it in the comments. But he has yet another reissue just done in different colors, and I think they're pretty cool. I just never wound up grabbing it. But I want to give you guys my Transformers story from a childhood and get out of here. Alright, my favorite story around Astrotrain. When he first came out, I kind of hated on him as a character in the cartoon. I don't remember him really doing much in the comic books. I still had Avengers comic books, but I just don't remember him standing out. So most of my memory comes from the text spec and the cartoon. And on the cartoon, when he first showed up, he was kind of pushing Starscream around. At one point, he choked Starscream up when he debuted on the episode God Gambit, I believe it was, and they pretended to be the Sky Gods and all that with Thrust and Starscream. And he came in as like the second toughest guy. I'm like, whoa, he taking over. I love my established characters. And I kind of was hating on him for that. Then later on, he got kind of pushed to the background. He came back to the forefront on Triple Takeover. And that was kind of cool. But at first, I hated on Astrotrain, but he's my favorite triple changer. As far as the toy, actual physical toy goes from Generation 1, I'm kind of torn between him and Sandstorm. So, but that's my Transformers childhood story. What's yours? What do you remember about Astrotrain? Did you have him as a kid? Did you love him? I played with this guy till the stickers virtually came off, and I handed them down to my cousin. One last piece of business I want to get to. I want to give a shout out to a new up-and-coming channel, Lion Primal. He has Transformers reviews, Modern and Generation 1. So please don't hesitate to head over there and check out his channel. And with that, I am out of here. I want to thank you all for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews are every toy.
Quiet! We want to hear story!